We're basically at the midway point of the NBA season this year. ESPN yesterday put out a mid-season grade for all 30 teams in the NBA. I haven't looked through any of this article. I just saw it, decided to make this video. So I'm going to go through, see what I agree with, what I disagree with, and me being an NBA expert, basketball expert, I'm going to give my little insights here and there on what I think these teams' grades should be. This post was done by a fella named Kevin Pelton, so I'm going to go through, see what Mr. Pelton has to think about these teams at this midway point. Bias aside, if Mr. Pelton doesn't give the Pistons at least a B, a minimum a B, might be around a B plus range, I'm going to be pretty disappointed in them. My opinion, the Pistons deserve an A plus for this season. The way they were historically bad last year, they're playing so much better, about 40, 41 games through this season so far. First up, Cleveland Cavaliers. He gave them an A, which, I mean, that's the correct rating. I wouldn't go A plus because they have dropped a couple bad games, haven't played as well as they should in some certain situations. But coming into this year, in my preview that I posted way back months ago, I said the Cavs will probably be around that 2 or 3 seed in the East, but don't be surprised if they get the 1 seed. Obviously, I think they have the second best record in the NBA right now behind the Thunder, or they might have the best record right now, but they're at the top of the Eastern Conference right now. An A, good choice from Pelton. I mean, that's an easy team to go with. The Detroit Pistons, well done, Mr. Pelton. He's grading them an A so far this season. I'm going to see why he graded them this way. Like I said, I think they deserve an A+. They were historically one of the worst teams in the league last year. They've already soared expectations, I think, from a lot of people. In my Pistons preview that I also posted months ago, I said, and every social media I own, I said the Pistons are going to make the playoffs this season. They did so much in the offseason to get better, hired J.B. Bickerstaff as their head coach, brought in Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, drafted Ron Holland. All these guys come together. The pieces are fitting well. Right now, I believe they are the 6th seed in the East, which might surprise a lot of people, but not me. And here, why this grade? The Pistons surpassed last season's win total by January 1st and aren't content with that. I agree with that. They can compete with anybody. Not saying they're as good as the Celtics or the Cavs or the Thunder or whatever, but they can compete, and they have shown that. They just beat the Rockets a couple days ago. They can compete with any team in the league, and I just think they're going to get better as the season goes on. We talked about Cade Cunningham's development. He could have been an all-star starter this year. Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell were starting at the guard spot. I'm not going to go into my opinion about that, but I think Cade Cunningham could be an Eastern Conference all-star starter. He's definitely an all-star. In my Pistons preview, I said that he's not going to win the MVP just because, I mean, the team's not going to be like a top 4 team or super good this year, but he will be playing at an MVP level. Fast forward 40 games or so into the season, he's playing at an MVP level. How they can improve, Jalen Duren stepping into a larger offensive role. I mean, I agree with that. He's shown he's a good ball handler. He can score down low, a really good rebounder. He just fouls way too much. He needs to be on the floor more and just be a better rim protector and just keep your hands down. I mean, he graded the Pistons an A. I'd give him an A+, but I'm satisfied with that grading. Before I continue grading these NBA teams, there's one thing I know for sure. This channel is an A+, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can find out for yourself. Houston Rockets, he's grading them an A. I can agree with this also. Currently 2nd in the West. Coming into this season, in my Rockets preview, I said they were kind of on the edge of a playoff team. Yes, I know that was crazy to say. Yes, they have a really good roster, good depth off their bench as well. But last year they finished exactly 500 with a pretty similar roster. I just wanted to see, I was challenging the Rockets to see how well this team could play together and make a potential playoff push. Midway point through the season, they have stepped up to the challenge. They've accepted my challenge. They're playing really well. He graded them an A. I'd give them an A as well. They did lose to the Pistons a couple days ago, but I mean, in the NBA, everybody beats everybody except for like the Wizards because they're terrible. I can't wait to see what he graded them. But I mean, the Rockets playing extremely well this year, and they're honestly looking like a championship contender. How they can improve, they say Jalen Green just has to keep up his offensive intensity. I mean, he is shooting the ball better. He is 27 points per game in January, shooting 46%. Obviously, that number is not going to be that high. He takes a lot of threes. Last year, he struggled from beyond the arc. But, I mean, if he can shoot around 42 to that 46%, and Şengün stays healthy, Van Vliet's still that veteran leader on the floor, this Rockets team's going to be dangerous come the end of the season. LA Clippers, an A. I wouldn't go this high yet for the Clippers. They have done well dealing with no Paul George, no Russell Westbrook. Norman Powell, who I've seen stuff where like people don't even know who he is. He's been so consistently good the last like 5 years in the NBA. He's having a little bit of a breakthrough season this year. Obviously, James Harden, triple-double threat every time he steps on the floor. Kevin Porter Jr. stepping up, and I think the biggest key addition for them was Derrick Jones Jr. in the offseason. In my Clippers preview from months ago, I said this was a great pickup for him. He just had like 29 points and 10 rebounds like 2 games ago or something. Super athletic. He's a really good defender, and now his offense is starting to show with this team as well. He grades them an A. The preseason projected wins was 35.5. Midway through the year, it's now up to 45. So, I mean, Kawhi's slowly coming back from his injury. I'm still not completely sold that he's going to make a big difference on this team. Pelton graded them an A. I'll give them about a B- up to this point because they have been inconsistent at times. The defense wins championships. Not saying they're going to win the championship, but that defense has been looking scary good so far for the Clippers. Memphis Grizzlies, he's giving them an A. The Grizzlies are such an interesting team. I said they were one of the sleepers at the beginning of the year. They've been dealing with so many injuries the past couple years, and they're still dealing with them this year, but they just have so many different guys that they can bring in and help this team when other guys go out. G.G. Jackson is starting to get back into the rotation for the Grizzlies, and he is a really good basketball player. If you don't know who G.G. Jackson is, you will by the end of this season. He gave them an A. I'd give them maybe a B+ up to this point. The trio of Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and John Morant have only played 19 total games together. I think that's a big 3. I mean, they're all really good basketball players, and then you throw in guys like Luke Kennard, Scottie Pippen Jr., Zach Edey, who I hate, has been playing pretty well this year, Santi Aldama. I mean, Jake LaRavia, you can just go on and on about how many different guys have impacted this team in a positive way. He gives them an A. I'll agree. I'll go with an A for the Grizzlies as well. Right now, they're the number 2 seed in the West. According to ESPN Basketball Power Index, they have the 4th hardest schedule remaining, so this team is going to have to stay healthy if they want to stay in that top 4, I'll say, in the West, but currently they're looking like they're going to do that. The Oklahoma City Thunder, he gives them an A. I'm just going to go out and give them an A+ already. Coming into the year, I said they have a very good chance of winning the championship. I think it's going to be the Celtics versus the Thunder in the NBA Finals, but why I'm going with an A+ rather than an A. Chet Holmgren was expected to have a really good year this year. He went down with injury. They got Isaiah Hartenstein in the offseason. He's now down with injury, and that's not even stopping them. They basically, Jalen Williams, Jaylin Williams, is starting at the 5 now for them, and they're still winning games. It looks like they're not even missing their 2 true centers on this team. SGA, who I'm not a big fan of, but I don't want to say he's the MVP frontrunner right now. Him and Jokic are definitely tight for that award, but SGA is playing off the charts this year for OKC. I mean, right now they're just the best team in the NBA, so I give them an A+ rather than an A. Denver Nuggets, he's giving them an A-. The beginning of the year was not good for the Nuggets. I thought they would be competitive this year, not as good as the past Nuggets teams have been. I didn't know how much of a positive impact Russell Westbrook would have for this team. He's had a triple-double, couple double-doubles. I mean, he seemed to find his fit with his team. They started off 11-10, obviously not good. Aaron Gordon got hurt. Now he's slowly getting back into that starting role. Their bench has been good. Julian Strawther, who I said was my player to watch coming into this season, he's been playing really well. Christian Brown has had some really good games for them as well. Jokic, like I said, him and SGA right now I think are the 1A and 1B for MVP. I just think that this team can be better. The defense is a little shaky, so he gives them an A-. I'm going to go with a B for the Denver Nuggets, but they are definitely on a positive climb going into the second half of the season. He says how they can improve, keep up the hot shooting, keep shooting the ball from 3, making those 3-pointers. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. has to be that main guy shooting 3s for them. You've seen Jamal Murray have a couple big games for them, but if they can shoot the 3s and spread the floor and you get Jokic down low, whether he's scoring or passing out when he gets double-teamed or triple-teamed, this is still a scary team, and if they play the way they're playing right now, I can see them making a good run into the playoffs. San Antonio Spurs, a very interesting team coming into this season. I think they made a great pickup with Chris Paul this offseason. Spurs, one of the youngest teams in the league, led by Victor Wembanyama. As everybody knows, he's still a freak, and he's only getting better. Paris game was yesterday. He went off in front of his home crowd of course. I mean, he's just insane. He gives them a B+. I didn't think they would be a playoff team. I still don't think they're going to be a playoff team coming into this year, but Chris Paul's playing well. I said Devin Vassell is going to be really good. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. He's playing well. They have a pretty good bench as well. I thought Stephon Castle has a chance. I thought he had a chance to be Rookie of the Year. I think he still has a chance to be Rookie of the Year. He's playing well, whether that's off the bench or we've seen some starting minutes out of Castle. It's tough because coming into the year, obviously, we didn't think the Spurs would be too good of a team. The way they're playing, I mean, they could be playing better. They could be playing worse. He gives them a B+. I'm just going to go with a solid B for them. I mean, expectations coming into the year were probably not a playoff team. They're still not a playoff team, but they're definitely playing better than I think a lot of people expected coming into this year. The Atlanta Hawks, he gives them a B+. I've watched probably more Hawks games than I probably should this year, but I mean, they're just such a fun team to watch. They have a little bit of depth off their bench as well, but Jalen Johnson, I have a bet with him to be most improved player. He's dealt with injuries throughout this year. No DeJounte Murray, and that has really opened up the floor tremendously for Trae Young. We've seen games of 20 assists, 16 assists. I believe he's still the league leader in assists per game right now. I mean, Jalen Johnson's exciting. I said DeAndre Hunter was going to be really good this year. He's been good for them. Vit Krejci has stepped into the starting lineup for them. Expectations coming into this year, I can't remember what I said about them. Probably fighting for a play-in spot, which they're still currently doing. I think it's been a really good year for the Hawks. A B+, might be a little generous. I might have to go with a B, but they've done a great job dealing with the loss of DeJounte Murray and dealing with injuries here and there. Onyeka Okongwu has been really good for the Hawks in the last 2-3 weeks, minimizing minutes for the older Clint Capella, getting some younger, more athletic guys on the floor. Hawks are just a fun team to watch. I think they can compete for the playoffs. So a B, B+, I think that's an appropriate grade. Sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off there. To avoid this being an hour-long video, I will be posting in separate parts, but make sure you subscribe and get ready for part 2.